Welcome back to the Actors Vow. I'm sorry I was lost last week. There was something that happened all of a sudden, and that is really good news. And that is that I was cast in a show as the lead, and I cannot talk about it because I have signed a couple NDAs, which makes me extremely sad. I am still shooting the show as you're going to be hearing this, but I got some time to record an episode because I couldn't leave you hanging for more than 1 week. This has been an incredible experience, and I cannot wait to tell you all about it once it's released and tell you all about the process on how it got there, the audition process and the shooting and everything. But anyway, today we're not here to talk about this. Today I have a very special guest in the podcast, and I've been wanting to have this guest and do this series for a very long time, and it's finally happening. Today we have the wonderful Pip van Slooten, and I don't know if I pronounced that right, so sorry Pip, I'm trying. She used to be my student. She's a former student from the Actors Vow Coaching Program, and I've been wanting to bring some of my current and former students to share their experience. Not only that, because they're doing amazing, and I'm generally so proud and in awe of everything they've been doing since the day I met them, whether it was months or years ago, and to where they are now. And I think hearing about their stories is going to also inspire you and see how it's possible and how things take time, and maybe hearing how they did it and the steps they took and what their experience was like. It's going to encourage you to also do the same thing. Pip is the first student that I have here in the podcast, and not only is she talented, not only is she such a hard worker, and I think, to be honest, our stories are pretty parallel too, but she's such a ray of sunshine, and I am just so impressed on how everything that she's done at her own age. She grew up wanting to act as a child, but she lived in Europe, like a lot of you who are listening, and she always knew she wanted to come to America to act, and she made it happen. She's gonna talk about it in the interview through this episode, so I'm not gonna make you wait more to meet Pip. Let's welcome Pip van Slooten to the Actors Vow podcast. Hi Pip, welcome to the Actors Vow podcast. I'm so happy to have you here.
Yeah, I'm so excited to be here.
Well, yeah, we haven't talked in so long, and I'm very excited to catch up. The first question that I ask everyone that comes to the podcast is, what made you want to be an actor? So I want to know what brought you here today.
Oh, I think, I was born with that. Like, I started acting when I was 8, so it's always kind of been inside of me, if that makes sense. Like, I was a very shy kid. Like, I was really shy before I started acting classes, and then my parents were like, we need to fix this. So then they took me to acting classes, and I think that's where I like found it. That's where I like came out of my shell. That's where I discovered how much I loved it, and I never really quit after that. It was, well, at that time it was mostly just for fun, of course, and then I quit for like a couple years. I didn't really pay that much attention to it, but I did always say that I wanted to be an actor. And then when I think I was like 16, where I started to pick it up again, and well, that's where I found you, and that's where it all became much more prominent in my life. But now it's become so much more than that, and now it's like taking over my entire life in the best way possible.
Yes, it does that. So when you started at 8, were you doing theater?
Yes. Well, I did a couple of auditions for TV. I did one commercial. It was a Disney commercial, so that was pretty cool. Yeah.
And that was in the Netherlands, right? Because you're originally
It was.
from the Netherlands.
Yes, I'm from the Netherlands. That's where I grew up until a year and a half ago.
When you were young, I want to talk about this that you just said, because I think a lot of people will relate, me included. That was my experience too. I was a very shy kid. I was such an introvert. I was the person who in recess just sat down by herself reading a book.
Oh my God,
everybody
no. My parents once came to school when I was like in I think it was kindergarten even, and I was just sitting with the teachers at the side of the whole, no, oh my gosh. And then they were like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
I was just sitting there.
I think a lot of people listening, that's also how they started in theater, like maybe how they feel in their lives. So I want to hear what, at that age, whatever you remember, like what do you think was it that theater did for you back then?
Well, mostly just you meet people that love it as much as you do, And I think I found really good friends there, if I remember correctly. I remember having so much fun with everyone in that class, and it was just such a fun activity. When I was in school at that age, I wasn't very happy in school, but I feel like that my acting class outside of school kind of made it a little more fun. I think it's just that the acting part of it kind of made me let go of who I was, I think.
And then, growing up in the Netherlands, tell me what was your experience with acting? Because I personally know growing up in Spain, it was like tough to do what I wanted to do. And I always knew like if I want to, do and be an actress professionally, I don't think I can stay where I am. So how was
Nope.
it for you, that experience?
Yeah, I had the same experience from a very young age. I was always obsessed with America, so I like always knew a lot about it. I've always said that I was like born American in like a Dutch body. It was, yeah, I always used to say that. But in the Netherlands, auditions is hard. Like I don't you can they're like casting bureaus that you can apply for, and then they'll send you an email with a casting call every now and then. But I remember signing up for a couple when I was that age or and older, and I got maybe one a year. Like so it really wasn't that good. So like I mostly relied on auditions I found online or Facebook groups. So I didn't have a chance to act that much in the Netherlands, not as much as I wanted to at least. So I also decided that if I really want to pursue it, I have to go somewhere else.
Yeah. Tell me when, because you said then you started learning classes and you were in the Actors Vow Coaching Program. You were one of the first people to enter the program when it started. And you were there for a while. So I want to hear what that initial experience it was. Like, what made you be like, okay, now it's my time to start classes. I want to do this. And I'm guessing the choice of it being online was important because of where you were located.
Yeah, totally. Well, how old was I when I started the Actors Vow? I think I was 20,
16?
16, 17, 16, 17. So obviously I was at the end of my high school. So like I had to think about what I wanted to do next. And I've always said that I wanted to act and do theater. I remember like my friends when I was in middle school, my friends and I used to say we wanted to be actors. But then after a year or so, that friend was like, yeah, that was just a phase. And I was like, yeah, right, yeah, so same. It's not for me though. So then I had to start looking at if we actually wanted to do an acting study or anything like that. And it always stuck with me. So I was like, yeah, you know what? There's nothing else I can do, so I'll just do that. So then I had to start looking into how to get into those schools. And I just wanted to learn more about it altogether. So I was like, I need to do something. I need to do something with acting because the only thing I was doing at that point were just auditions I found online, which was not that often that I could find anything. So I was like, I just need to do something else. And then I found you. I found you on TikTok. And then I started following you. And then I saw that you were doing this program. And I was like, oh my God, this is destiny. And I asked my mom, I was like, can I please do this? And it was just great that that you were, you live in LA, so it was just a more cooler connection that I had with acting and that part. So, and I wanted to learn more about that as well, because at that point I already knew that I wanted to move to America at some point in my life. So that was just a step closer. It felt like that.
And that's amazing. I love how you knew what you wanted and you went for it. And remembering you from the program, you were in it for, I think you were there a year and a half or a year.
Yeah, something
but you
like
were there
that,
for a
year and a
while. And you obviously grew so much in the program from when you started to where you ended, and look at where you're now. And I think you are a very talented person, but I think a big part of it is how hard you work. And I remember you as a student who works really hard and was always on top of it and participated. And so I want to hear what your perspective on that is. Like, do you think, because a lot of times, I don't know if you've gotten that, but personally, when I moved to the US and, it's this whole journey that people back home look at it and they're like, oh my god, like you've done this, or like you're so lucky, and they always see it as like, well, you're lucky that you got to do this, and it's like, well, there's a lot of hard work that goes into this. So I want to hear, like, for you, like, how do you think you made it from being in the Netherlands to then being where you are now?
Well, I think having a great support system is really important in that, because my parents have always supported me in whatever, which I'm so grateful for. They always vowed for me, and they were like, if you want to be an actor, you can be an actor. And that helps so much in me, because
Such a gift.
that also, it's so great, because they've always encouraged following your dreams, and I think that's really important. That's what really made me move here in the first place, because they told me, like, if you have a dream, then go for it. And I think I kind of took over that mindset, and then I followed my dreams, and now I'm here. And obviously it takes so much work, as you said. It's a really big commitment, but the reward is just so big that it doesn't feel like that much hard work in the moment. But yeah,
sure.
You definitely need to. You definitely need to, like, commit.
Definitely. And it's doesn't happen overnight. I think a lot of times from the outside, we see the success of others overnight. It's like, oh, well, now this person is in the US, or now they got a role. And it's like, there is so much that went behind the scenes, and so many years of, like, trying. And for you, applying to colleges, right, it was a process. Like, first you had to do an audition, or like an application process, write essays, like get recommendation letters. And that took months. But you just have to do it and commit to it, like you're saying.
Yeah. People just see what's going on the surface. People just see, oh, well, you got into that school. That's great. Yeah. But as you said, it took months.
Absolutely. And I don't know how it was for you, your experience, but I remember for me, I needed to get a scholarship to come here. So I remember the last 2 years of high school, like, working my ass off to get the best grades. Well, my classmates were, like, partying on the weekends, or, you know, I'm not saying I didn't hang out at all, but I definitely remember working way harder than most people around me to get to this place.
Yeah, it kind of the same happened for me. Well, I originally applied to schools in LA, but I got rejected from those schools because my grades weren't that good, which is sad. But then I got into the school where I'm at now, which is awesome. And now I'm working really hard to keep my A's. I'm a straight A student, so nice. I'm working really hard on that, because I knew that would matter, because I didn't want that to happen again.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to talk all about you moving here and, you know, your college experience and everything. But first, can we talk a little bit more of your time in the Actors Vow Coaching Program?
Yes, absolutely.
I want to hear, what was your favorite thing about it? What was the thing that you got the most out of it?
There's so much. I just loved everything about it, especially just all the things you talked about is, like, things that no one tells you. Like, we were talking about this yesterday, the email thing, like, that your email name has to be, like, clear and simple. It makes so much sense, but no one talks about it. So I did some thinking, and I was like, what were the things that Denise has taught me that no one else talks about? So I wrote it down.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, I did. Well, first of all, the stapling together of the resume and the headshot with, like, in all the four corners, so it looks like one, but they can still pull it together if they want to.
Yeah.
It makes so much sense, but
absolutely.
It makes you look so much more professional.
Let's explain that very quick for the people listening.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So when you go to an audition, there's a headshot and there is a resume. And I've seen people glue it together, which I've heard casting directors say that they hate it, because then you have this, like, weird thing that's all together. It's like, now I have to separate it, you know. It's just weird. If you keep it with the staples, they can definitely separate it. It's still clean, and it stays there.
Yeah.
If you do it with one staple, what I've seen it happening is that a lot of casting directors will put them all in, like, a folder. And if you just put one staple or two, it will all, like, wrinkle and crumble. So if you just make it neat with one staple on each corner, it's way easier for them.
Yeah, that makes so much sense. But yeah, so that, and then also the resume size, that it doesn't is not supposed to be like a normal A4,
Yeah.
but I think it's 9 by 10, is it?
8 by 10.
I don't remember. 8 by 10. Ah!
Yeah.
Okay, I was correct. Anyway, and then I wrote down that you have to have different styles of resumes, as in theater, commercial, and film, which also makes a lot of sense, and that you have to have a different headshot for each of those auditions,
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
which is great. It's just great that you taught
And
like the little things, which makes you look more professional, and I like that a lot.
And when we say about the resumes, like, it's not having a completely different resume. It's organizing the resume in level of priority for what you're auditioning for, right? And it's not that it's a rule that if you go and you don't do it, they're gonna be like, no, you can't be here, right? But it's one of those things that just makes you look better in the audition room. Like if I'm auditioning for a theater piece, I would want the theater credits to be first. If you have the TV and film credits, they're gonna be like, oh, this person is more of a TV and film actress, and it's not that they're not going to consider you, but maybe they're going to look at you already in a different way. So it's really as simple as just switching the credits in it. And those are the little things that, and those are things that I did not learn in school, and I wanted to make sure that definitely to teach you guys in the program, because I feel like schools focus so much on technique, and I love it. This is great, right? But it's like there's so many more things that go into being an actor that it's like nobody teaches you that.
Yeah, which is just great. But I feel like you also covered everything, because I learned so much about the history too from you, and about all the techniques, all the different techniques. I remember being in my acting class that I have now, and we were talking about Lee Strasberg, and I was like, well, I already know all about that. I can give you a whole story. And nobody of my peers like knew about him, and I was like, yeah, well, I do.
I love it.
Yeah. But I think my favorite thing that happened while I was in the Actors Vow was the one-on-one thing, kind of where I got to talk to you about moving to America, and I remember you explaining everything about how to do that and how to make it possible. So I remember like taking all the notes, and now I have this like I have this list of what I have to do, what I have to do next, and what I'm gonna do now, and that has helped me so much in moving here too. And I think it's just really great that I got to talk to you one-on-one on that for like an hour, which really helped me. So thank you for that. That was amazing.
For sure. Yeah, in the program, just also to clarify, classes are group classes, but there is opportunity to do one-on-one coaching for free. Like it's a contest. If someone's a contest, and you can participate. And I do love that time, because it's so different than what you do in group classes. It's a time that you can dedicate just to the person and like their specific needs. And for you, it was coming to America. I remember the talk, and I told you about how I did it, and I'm very glad that helped you. So tell me then, when you decided to, come here and do the application process and the auditions and everything, how was that experience for you?
Well, it was really difficult. I originally applied to, just normal universities. I applied to Cal State LA, Cal State Long Beach, and then Santa Barbara City College, where I'm at now, and I got rejected from those Cal State schools. But my friend at the time, she was also going here, and then she was like, well, apply to my school. So I applied to her school, and that process wasn't that difficult, because I didn't have to do an audition or anything, because it's just a theater program. So I got into that school without an audition, which was great. But then obviously I applied to the American Academy of Dramatic Arts this year, and that was a really grueling audition process.
That
like,
is
I had
so
to write an
exciting.
essay. I know. Oh my gosh.
I'm so proud of you, Pip. I was literally,
Thank
when you
you.
sent me the message, I started screaming. I was with friends, and they were like, are you okay? And I'm like, yeah. We got into the
Oh my
academy.
God. I
So
know.
cool.
Oh, that was so cool.
I want to
so
hear all
happy.
about the process.
Yes.
But tell me
Yes.
first, it's been 2 years, 1 year of you here?
A year and a half.
A year and a half. Okay.
Yeah.
how do you feel about the school and the program that you've been in and being in Santa Barbara? I know that it's far from LA, and how was it?
Yeah, well, yeah, I love it here. First of all, I'm actually really glad that I went here first instead of LA because I feel like if I went to LA immediately, I would have been so overwhelmed because it's such a
Yeah.
big city. And I come from a really small town with like 800 people, so like that switch would have been insane.
Yeah.
And it's still a really insane switch, don't get me wrong, because I'm looking at
Yeah.
palm trees when I look outside right now, and like that's really
It's
different
wild,
from the
yeah.
Netherlands. Yeah, but yeah, Santa Barbara is just so pretty, first of all, but it's also kind of it gives me small town vibes. Like everybody kind of knows
Yeah.
each other. And that's what I really like about it.
I
And
love
my
it, yeah.
school, it's amazing. My school is amazing and so pretty. And the theater program is actually pretty good. We do 2 plays every semester. You can audition for that. Um, and they give you lots of audition opportunities. There's this like email list you can sign up for to get audition calls from students' short films and all
Nice.
that kind of stuff. So that's been great. I've been doing that a lot.
It's so good.
Yeah, there's just a lot of opportunities here, which is great.
I love it. What has been
Yeah.
your favorite thing that you've learned in the program you're in now?
Um, Probably like working together because I got to do this play this semester. I was cast for the play this semester, and that cast has taught me so much about working together, and um, it's taught me so much about the theater itself. Because
Yeah.
obviously, I've been taking a lot of the classes about the theater, so now I know so much more about what it takes to put on a production, and
Yeah.
it's crazy to see how much work it takes.
Definitely. It's one of those things that you can't learn in a classroom. Like, you have to be in it to understand what it is.
Totally.
And
Yeah,
appreciate the
absolutely.
roles of everyone. Like, I feel when you are just studying acting, it's like, okay, like, actors, like, we're so
Actors.
important. And, it's like our thing. But then you get there and
Oh
it's
my
like, there's
gosh.
so many people involved in it. And if it wasn't for every single person doing their job, like, you would not be able to do what you're doing. And it gives
Totally,
such
I
a
agree.
deep sense of appreciation of how, like, community-based theater is.
Yeah, I took this class called Theater Appreciation,
Oh,
and it's literally just about every single part of what makes theater, and that was an amazing class.
that's cool.
Taught me
That's a
so
very,
much. Yeah.
it's a very cool subject. Okay, very cool. I love Santa Barbara. I go there at least once a year, and I always say that when I have lots of money and my career is more established, I'm gonna move to Santa Barbara. And whenever they need me to come and shoot something here, I'm just gonna come to LA. I love
Yeah,
it.
literally.
It's so
Yeah,
pretty, and the
it's
food is
great.
amazing. There's an ice cream shop there that I'm obsessed with. It's like on the main street. It's
Yeah.
so good.
I know which one you're talking about. Yeah.
So good. So yeah, I'm so happy that you're there. But tell me, so the idea for you was when you came here, I remember you told me, yeah, the idea is to be in school like a year and a half or 2 years and then transfer to LA. And so
Yeah.
when it came to transferring to LA, I'm guessing you had several options. You applied to different places.
Yeah, I applied to the American Academy of Dramatic Arts and I applied to the New York Film Academy, but I haven't completed that application yet, but also because I got an answer from the other school before I could complete
way
it. And then I was
better,
like, well, yeah.
Forget
I was
about
like,
the other one.
yeah. So I'm just really happy I got into that school because
Yeah.
it's been a dream school for so long. So
Absolutely. It's
Yeah.
really hard to get in this school. For those of you who are listening and don't know about the American Academy, it's a really amazing school. I don't know anybody who went to the LA one, but in New York, I used to have a lot of friends who went there, and I saw several productions there, and it's amazing what you're gonna learn. It's gonna be so life-changing for you. Tell me, what was the audition process like for those who are wanting to apply?
So first of all, I had to write kind of like a small essay, like 300 to 500 words about my life. I try to keep it straight to the point, but I feel like I drifted a little bit in that
What
essay.
did you talk about?
Well, I talked about I talked about my YouTube channel for some reason.
Your what?
I thought that was my YouTube channel.
Oh, I love it.
I thought, yeah, well, I thought that was a good add on to the story. I was talking about a passion for storytelling. I talked about that I wanted to be a writer when I was little. So I guess that's where the storytelling started. I talked about that. And then other than the essay, I
love
to,
that.
you know,
Wait, let's talk a
yeah.
moment about the essay,
Oh,
because I think
please.
what you did is super smart, and it's kind of like the tell me about yourself in auditions, right? I think that the trap for this is a lot of people hear, oh, this is for the American Academy. They want me to write an essay, and they write 500 words on how much they love acting and how passionate they are about acting and how acting is their dream. And it's great, but every single person says the same thing, right? But that's not what you're supposed to write there. What you did is really smart. You found things that relate to acting but are not acting themselves, and you kind of like related to that, which shows the people that are reading that you're a three-dimensional person that is more than just someone who I just want to be an actor, right? And the fact that you chose storytelling, which, you know, it's what acting at the core of it is, it's really smart of you. And I love how you talk about YouTube channel and everything that you're doing, your social media, which is also a great thing that I think I don't know what your experience with social media has been, but I've been following you a little bit and seen some of your vlogs, and I think it's amazing that you decided to do that too.
Thank you. Yeah, that was great. You taught me that actually, that you're not supposed to talk about acting. That's another thing. Denise has taught me. Everyone.
Yeah. Then you did the essay, and then I'm guessing there was some audition. Was that the
Yeah.
thing?
Yeah, well, yeah, obviously you also have to like upload all your transcripts, so I had to upload my college transcript as well as my high school transcript.
So annoying.
Which,
The whole
oh
process
my
of
gosh.
documents. Yeah.
So many documents. Oh, I hate it. Ugh. My mom did like most of it. She was like, well, put this into that folder, put this into that folder. But yeah, other than that, the next thing was the audition. So for my audition, I had to do 2 monologues that are contrasting monologues. So I could do classic and contemporary. I could do comedy and drama. I chose classic and contemporary. I did a Shakespeare monologue.
Ooh, I love it.
Yeah, yeah.
You did Shakespeare, right? While in the program, I think you got to do some Shakespeare.
I think
I think we did
must have done
Shakespeare
some
with
Shakespeare.
your generation of the program. I haven't done Shakespeare since a year and a half ago.
Oh,
so I think we still got to do it.
Yeah, well, it's a big thing.
How was it? How was it to do Shakespeare for an audition or classic?
It was really difficult. I asked for some help from my acting teacher from one of my classes now, and she helped me pick the right monologue, which was great because obviously, like, I haven't really read that many Shakespeare plays, so and she has, so it was just great to get her help on that.
What did you pick?
I picked Isabella's monologue from Measure for Measure.
Love it.
I don't think it's so well known, so that was also great.
Yeah, it's not Juliet in Romeo and Juliet.
No, right. So I did that. I read the entire play. I had to buy one of those modern versions of it because I could not understand it, but I figured it out at the end.
Yeah.
And I did the analyzing thing with the stress and no stress and this thing. I did have to watch some YouTube videos on how to really prepare a Shakespeare monologue. I really tried my best, and I do feel like I really got the story, so that helped a lot with the Shakespeare, because if you really have to understand every part of it in order to do a Shakespeare monologue. Okay,
and then you did a contemporary, which was what?
It was from the play Significant Other. Yeah, I don't think it's a really big. I think it was on Broadway though.
Okay.
I'm
not familiar.
I don't really know. No, nobody knows it. The guy in the audition room also didn't know it.
That's amazing. That's a really good thing.
I know. So I did that. It was really funny. It was a comedy monologue because I knew I wanted to do a comedy.
Yeah.
Because I love comedy, first of all, and I feel like I got pretty good comedic timing. Mm-hmm. So I wanted to do
Yeah.
a comedy monologue.
No,
And
I love that. When you were picking these monologues, you're saying you
Mhm.
have good comedic timing. One of the key things when you do an audition for anything is knowing your strengths so you can showcase those. And then when it was audition day, was it like group auditions, individual auditions? What was the process like?
It was individual auditions. I was the first one there, actually, which
Wow.
was nerve-wracking. Like, I was there 20 minutes early. My
Love
roommate,
it.
I did an in-person audition, so I had to drive all the way up to LA. My roommate drove me, which I'm so grateful for. She drove me all the way to there, and then after half an hour, we went back an hour and a half. So that was amazing. But yeah, I did an in-person audition. I remember getting there. So that was also my first time actually seeing the school in person, which was
Yeah.
awesome. And there was only one person in the audition room. So it wasn't like a group of people that were
Yeah.
judging me or auditioning me.
Yeah.
It was only one person, which helped a lot. And he just talked about me a bunch. Like he asked, like right when I came in, he was like, "Oh, tell me about yourself and tell me about your story," which was great.
And
It
you were
made me
so
so.
prepared to answer that, weren't you?
Oh, I was so prepared. Yeah, totally.
Love it.
I knew it. Yeah, so he made me feel really comfortable, which definitely helped a lot.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
that's the thing. Whether you're auditioning for a school or for a big role, the people in the audition room want you to succeed. Like, and some people are
Yeah.
better at showing that than others. And obviously, if it's a school, I think they put more effort into making you feel comfortable. But
Yeah.
in the end, they want you to be comfortable and they want you to put on your best performance. And so I'm glad that you had someone who was able to show
Yeah.
you that.
Oh my gosh, but right before when I walked into the building, there was no one, and then there was this one guy that was walking down the hallway, and I was like, "Oh, I'm lost." And that ended up being the person that was gonna audition me. So like, I don't know if that was a good first impression or not, but that was
Well,
that was great.
that probably allowed him to see your personality of you outside of the audition
Maybe
room,
a
because
little bit, maybe.
a lot of times when we're nervous, we get into the audition room and we put our, actor persona, and then we don't really let
Yeah.
our true selves come out. So maybe it was good that he got you to
Maybe.
outside of there.
Maybe that's the reason. Yeah, who knows?
Great. That's great. And you think are you happy with how the audition went and your performance?
Yeah, I was really happy actually. I was done within 10, 15 minutes. And I did the two monologues and then he gave me some notes and then I had to do them again. He gave some awesome notes, which really helped. So like I remember being in that audition room doing those two monologues or doing that monologue from Shakespeare and then doing it again with his notes. I remember it felt so different. So he gave some really great notes, yeah. And I think that's what he saw too, that it felt so different, and yeah, I think that's what really maybe
Well, it's a test.
helped him
They
make
give
that
you
decision.
they give you notes to see if you can take direction, and the fact that you were able to change it on the spot, I think it's a hard thing to do. I think a lot of actors, especially when you're starting out, you get really set on what you want to do. It's like, this is my monologue and this is the right way to
Oh
do
my
it, and this is
gosh.
it. So the fact that you were able to change it right then, and I think that's something that I really try to do in the program too, like make you guys try different things with your monologues and play around with it, so you can get used to the idea that there's
Yeah.
so many ways to do the same monologue.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I think that's like the most important part they look for in an audition. See if you can take direction, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Congrats again, Pip. I'm so proud
Thank
of you.
you.
And I'm so excited that when
you.
you're in a production, I'm going to come see you. Please let me know. It's going to be
Woo!
so great.
I
Yay.
will.
Yes. Well, let's talk about America a little bit as a whole. You said that you grew up loving America, and that was my
Totally.
experience too.
Yes.
I knew right away, since a very young age, I wanted to move to New York. For me, it was New York always. And I was obsessed with everything America. But then when I moved here, I remember the first months, it was a little tough. And there's a little bit of a cultural shock of things. And it's like, okay, you see it in movies, but then finding yourself here alone. I think you're an only child too, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Like your family is so far and you're here.
Yeah.
What was that for you? Like, what was the most challenging thing about moving by yourself?
Um, well, the most challenging was definitely like I lived with my parents my whole life, and I lived in this so tiny town away from everything, so I depended on my parents a lot.
Yeah.
So moving here alone was just so different because I had to do everything alone. I had
Yeah.
to do the banking thing. I had
Yes.
to laundry. Oh my God,
Laundry.
crazy laundry. But if anything went wrong at school or anything, I had to meet up with all these people, and I had counselors and whatever. I had to do that all myself, and I couldn't rely on my parents anymore, which was um, definitely a little bit of a shock. But I feel like I've gotten pretty good at it.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, it's one of the things that you have to learn. It's usually the first months, but it's nerve-wracking because you are here alone. And something that my
Yeah.
mom always says, it's like the hardest thing is like if something happened, like an emergency, we can't just like be there in 5 minutes. It's a long
Yeah.
flight. It's, I don't know the Netherlands, but from Spain it's like 12 hours.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Something about that.
it's hard for you to be there for them and them to be there for you. What about culturally? Like, how did you find like being here and like, I mean, the language, you're really good at English and you were already there, but making friends and lifestyle.
Yeah. Um, well, I just love Americans so much. I love their personalities. So I knew I wanted to have some good American friends. I last year I lived in this international student house, so I was surrounded by international students, which they were great, but I was more looking for a really cultural
Immersion.
yes, for sure. So I really wanted some American friends, and I found those people, and I'm really grateful. They're great. But yeah, it was definitely a switch. Like, Dutch people are so different from the people
How?
here.
How are they
As in,
different?
well, the Dutch people are more direct for sure, and I
Okay.
feel like they're really set in their ways.
Mm,
Like, also fashion is really different, so that was also a really
yeah.
shock for me.
Well,
But
you went to the complete opposite for that because I don't think it's all America. Like New York, for example, they're very direct.
oh yeah,
But in LA, people are so like
so
everything
laid
is
back.
so laid back, and also there's like so much subtext. I feel like anytime I talk to someone, it's like
Yeah.
you're not telling me what you really think. We're not really talking directly. We're just like going around in circles, but we all are thinking the same thing. But we're not gonna say it out loud.
We're not gonna
It's
talk about it.
yeah.
No,
So
I
yeah.
agree. Definitely. No, yeah, it was such a switch.
Tell me, you do YouTube, you do vlogging. Where did that come about? Was it because, I mean, I'm guessing related to acting in some way, or you just wanted to do that your job?
Um, yeah, well, I started making videos, not on YouTube, but I started making videos when I was like 6. I started like recording me playing with the Barbies, and I would make up this whole story, and I taught myself editing on iMovie. So I love doing that. And then I think I was 9 when I started my actual YouTube channel, which is just crazy. That's 10
Wow.
years ago.
Wow.
Yeah. But I'm guessing I was 9, so that was right after I started acting classes. So
Yeah.
it probably had so much to do with it. Obviously, my confidence grew so much from that. So that's probably what made me start wanting to post the videos on
Yeah.
YouTube. Yeah.
And what was
I
the
just,
channel when it started?
um, well, it was called Life with Pip. I'm still really attached to that name. Now it's my name, Pip van Slooten,
Uh-huh.
because I wanted it to be, sleek and simple and whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, I used to make videos about my days, just kind of what I do now, honestly. It's kind of the same still. About my days and about
So
what
it's
I
like
got for Christmas
lifestyle
and
vlog.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, basically that.
Wow. That's really
Yeah.
cool. That's really cool. And how do you think now? I mean, do you think now it helps you in some way with acting, or it could help you at some point, or you just keep it because it's something that you have fun doing?
Yeah, it's for now it's mostly just about having fun, but I also think it's really helpful for like if a casting director like wants to know more about me, like my YouTube channel is such a great way in showing who I am.
Yes.
Like it shows my
Yeah.
personality so well. So I think that's a great way of showing who you are if someone wants to know more about you.
Yeah, and I don't think that social media is like the end all be all. It's like, you know, if you have big following, like you're gonna make it,
No.
or the opposite. But I just finished. Well, I'm finishing tomorrow. Tomorrow's the last day shooting a series, and I obviously don't know the what happens behind the scenes, right? I just know that they contacted me. There was a process of callbacks and I got to it. But then once I got on set and I, you know, become close to the director and all that, she was telling me how they decided on me. And they were telling me that a big part of it is they found me, they saw my audition, but then they found my social media. And they said, we went on TikTok and we watched all my Spanish TikTok, which is different than the English, which is I do acting in my Spanish one. They said, like, we watched all your acting videos there. And we saw all the different, like, you know, types that you have and all the different layers that you can act. And they were like, we were like, this has to be it because you had so many options there. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, so it
That's
is true.
so
So
great.
it does help,
It's like,
you know.
It's like one big demo reel. That's awesome.
It's a giant demo reel. I have hours and hours of me acting there. So, but it's true. And for you, for the blog, you know, I'm not saying that that's the thing that's going to make it or break it. But, you know, if they're interested in you and then they find the blog, then they're going to feel like they know you more, and it might be the thing that tips them over to you versus another person. All right, before you go, tell me, what are your favorite 3 movies right now?
Oh God. Okay. I've always loved Now You See Me.
Okay. I've never seen it. I know what it is, but I've never seen it.
Oh, you should watch it. It's so good.
Okay. I'm gonna watch it.
I watched Perks of Being a Wallflower a couple weeks ago,
So cute.
which is also an amazing movie.
Yeah.
Oh, The Truman Show. It's got to be up there because I love The Truman Show.
Yeah, that's a good
Definitely. Yeah. Oh, that's definitely a good one.
Okay, and I know that you were in Santa Barbara, but I'm guessing you've come to LA several times. So I want to know, what are your 2 favorite places here in Los Angeles?
Ooh.
Or it can be restaurants, it can be places to see.
I love the Grove. It's really basic, but I love the Grove because it's
love the Grove.
so there's no cars, it's just people, and
Yeah,
it's so
super. Have you
cozy
been there
and
for
fun to walk
Christmas?
around in. I have with a big Christmas tree.
So
I
pretty.
remember being there when I was there. There was this actual like Christmas show, I think, filming. So there was this whole stage with that was really cool.
That's awesome.
And then the other one, I went to the Getty Museum with my grandma when she was here last year, which was also really great. And
You're talking
it's
about
such a beautiful,
the big Getty, right? Or the Getty Villas?
the big one, the
big one.
where you can walk around for hours on hours on
Yeah.
end.
Yeah. Have you been to the Getty
Yeah,
Villa
that
on
was-
the way to Malibu?
No, I have not.
Okay, you should go see it. I love the Getty, but the Getty Villa is my personal favorite. It's like it's the recreation of like a Roman villa, but it's not actually Roman, of course. But you know, Mr. Getty used to own it and live there, and then now it's a museum, and they have a lot of like Roman, Greek, and ancient art. So if you're into that, it's really pretty, and also it's a great place to take photos because it's very beautiful.
That's
it's like
great.
a palace. So yes,
Yeah.
great for content too.
Ooh, I'm gonna keep that in mind.
Yeah. Okay, and now tell me, what is your favorite current song?
I've recently discovered the songs from Hosier.
Oh yeah.
I don't know how to
love
pronounce
him.
his name.
Hosier, yeah. I think
Wait,
so.
I have to wait. I have to look up what this song is called because I'm
Love his lyrics.
Work Song. I think that's it. Or Would That I. One of those two. But
Okay.
I love his songs.
That's
They're
awesome.
great. I've been listening
Okay.
to them a lot. Yeah.
So before you go, tell people where they can find you on social media and YouTube.
My social media is just my name. Every single social media platform is just my name, Pip van Slooten or Van Slooten, however you want to call it.
I'll put it on the notes.
I've gotten used to every single name. So it's literally just my name on every single
And
platform.
you're on
and
Instagram.
yes,
YouTube.
on Instagram, on TikTok, on YouTube. I was gonna say Snapchat, but I don't really use that anymore. So
Is that
let's
still a
not talk
thing?
about
Who
that.
uses
No,
Snapchat?
it's not. Who uses Snapchat?
I haven't used that in so long, God.
No, I know. So yeah.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much for coming here. It's been so exciting. You're doing such incredible things, Pip. I'm so proud of you. I'm so happy to see your progress. I cannot wait to see everything you're gonna do. And yay, I'll see you soon in LA.
Thank you so much. Yeah. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Thank you so much for this.
I hope you enjoyed the chat with Pip as much as I did. I hadn't talked to her in so long, so it was wonderful to catch up with her in a talk and not just through social media. I am so, so, so proud of you, Pip, once more, and I cannot wait to cheer you on with everything that you do moving forward. Before we leave this week, I wanted to share with you the movie of the week, and this week we're going to talk about I Am Thinking of Ending Things. This is another obscure, very, very weird movie, also not very commercial, and I haven't heard a lot of people talk about it, and that might be the reason why, but it's one of my favorite movies. It is on Netflix. It's directed by Charlie Kaufman. It has Jesse Plemons in it, Toni Collette in it. So the team is just mind-blowing. The acting is just out of this world. The story, it's a very dark psychological story about loneliness and about relationships. And I'm not going to tell you more because it's one of those movies that the plot is not the main thing, but it's like how it happens. It's not an epic story. It's literally just about the characters and how the story is told and the acting of it. I recommend you watch this movie if you like to be challenged, if you like philosophy, psychology. It's not one of those movies to sit down with the whole family and have fun or watch every weekend or so, but it's one of those movies that you definitely want to watch at least once in your life and you won't be able to forget. Thank you so much, guys, for being here another week. The holidays are coming, and I'm so excited. It's my favorite time of the year. And if you or a friend that you know wants to join acting classes, this is a great present for those of you who want to be actors or who are actors and just want to keep working on your craft. The Actors Vow Coaching Program is going to be opening doors in January. So now you can sign up for the waiting list. If you sign up for the waiting list, you're going to be the first person to join when doors open, and you're going to get a special discount. Otherwise, you don't get a discount and you don't get to be the first person to join. And there is some surprises for those of you who are going to be joining first, of early bird special. I am so excited to meet you and work with you. So if that's something you're interested in, do not hesitate to reach out, DM me, email me at hello@theactorsvow with any questions, and I hope to see you in class. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week, and I will see you next Wednesday.